So I want to very quickly take you through one of my favorite current account hacks, one that's going to earn you anything from 60 quid a year up to 360 pounds. Big difference there, but potentially that's how much money you can make from this. A little 60 quid, which is great, as much as 360. So how does this come together? How does this work? Well, you need one of these. You need a Halifax Reward current account. In fact, you need more than one of these, and I'll come back to that in a second. But fundamentally, this account, I've spoken about it a lot on the channel before. I'm a big fan of it. As long as you got it and you jump through some hoops, which I will return to, you will get a choice of a reward every single month. Hence why it's called the Halifax Reward account. Now, those rewards are either a £5 cash reward, a cinema ticket, a View cinema ticket, 2 movie rentals from Rakuten, or 3 digital magazine subscriptions. Personally, I think the £5 reward is the best one because you get to choose how you spend it and you've got that flexibility even to go and get a cheap cinema ticket elsewhere. And often the View tickets, you can get them cheaper from the likes of Groupon and stuff. So I tend to think, right, get that cash, you spend it how you want. And obviously £5 every single month over a year, that is 60 quid. So that's kind of what I'm going to focus on, but you might say you can obviously choose those different rewards if you want to, but I'm going to focus here on the money. Now, in order to get this money every single month or the other reward, whatever you choose, there are a few steps you need to take. One of them I think is possibly really easy to forget about, but really important you do it, is you have to pay in £1,500 into the account every single month. If you do this, it's really important you do this, it wipes out a £3 fee every single month. So it's really, otherwise it kind of cuts into your reward, makes it a bit pointless. You need to make sure you're putting £1,500 into the account every single month. Now that money does not have to stay there. So the money can go straight in and you can take it straight back out again if you wish, okay? So really easy. If you use it elsewhere, you get paid, put the money in, take it back out if you want to, no problem there. It also doesn't need to be in one go. You could put in smaller installments. So you could do 3 times £500, 5 times £300. It could be the same money going in, going out, going in, going out to trigger that £1,500 every single month qualification. You need to do that to avoid the fee and also to get the other bonus. Now the bonus itself has an extra step that you need to take. And there are a couple of options you've got here. The first one, I'll tell you about it. I'm not going to recommend it, but I'll tell you about it. This is to have £5,000 saved in the account every single day of the month. If you do that, it triggers that £5 bonus. That is, if you imagine you had that same £5,000 in an interest account, to get £5 a month is equivalent of 1.2%. Now, at the time of recording this, and you're probably regular viewers, you'll know I do my monthly updates looking at savings accounts. Rates are much better than that. So you could easily, if you had £5,000 in savings, you put it into another savings account, you will easily double that, if not more. We're talking 2.55%, 2.81% potentially. If you're not touching the money, 3%, maybe even 5%. So that money can be much better saved elsewhere. So ignore that one, okay? The alternative, and this is the one I'm going to recommend and sort of go into a bit more detail on, is to spend £500 on this debit card every single month. So you'll get your Halifax debit card, you need to spend 500 quid. And that does exactly the same thing. That triggers that £5 bonus. Now, if you are spending £500 and you're getting £5 back, that is the equivalent of 1% cash back, which is, put it up there really, alongside the Chase debit card, 1% for a year, or the American Express Nectar credit card, which gives you 2 Nectar points for every £1 you spend, which is again the equivalent of 1%. So they're kind of on a par. That's pretty decent. So if you have some money that you are spending, let's face it, imagine most of us are going to be spending £500 every single month, not all of us, then that is kind of problem solved, right? You do that, you get the money into your account. 60 quid in a year. Perfect. But there is a hack that makes this even easier. In fact, you don't have to spend money at all. Effectively, you're transferring money to a different account and then bringing it straight back. So you literally aren't spending cash. Now, this is handy because if you are using a cashback credit card, like the ones I spoke about right now, those two giving you 1%, the Amex one or the debit card, then you can earn that money, that 1% on that £500, get a fiver effectively back on that from those cashback cards, and still get the £5 by spending on your debit card. So this is where I talked about doubling your money, this money going up in numbers. So if you have this one current account from Halifax, you're spending £500 on the debit card in one of the tricks I'll take you through in a moment, and £500 on a cashback card, that's £10 a month you're getting from the same £500 spend. So let me explain these different options, okay? So the ways you can do this, the ways you can spend £500 without spending £500, there are 2 options here. One of them is probably the best one for most of us to go for, I would say. This is to use the card to top up money in a separate savings or current account. Now, there are only a handful of accounts that will let you do this. Very, 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 very few of them. There are 2 banks that let you do this, Revolut and Monese. I'll come back to that one in a minute, particularly the Monese one, because there's been some changes there. Or into a savings account. And the savings accounts which allow you to add money as a debit card are Yorkshire Building Society, Skipton Building Society, and NSNI, National Savings Investments, who do instant access accounts plus they do premium bonds. So you're effectively using your debit card to add money to those places, 500 quid every single month. And then because you're not actually spending any money, you can transfer that 500 quid straight back into whatever account you want. £5 is triggered. You've spent nothing at all. You spent a few minutes of your time each month to do that payment, to add it across. But that is it. It's not a huge amount. Now, obviously, you need to open these accounts. The savings accounts, the NSNI account, that's not going to be a problem. There's no things like a credit check or anything like that. You can just open them up. Make sure they are easy access, though, because otherwise, if you are locked away, you won't be able to access the money. You may even find that some of them are offering decent rates. You might be happy using them as your savings accounts, in which case you don't need to transfer it back. But have a look at what's available and what you can get elsewhere. Really, really simple. The current account is slightly different. The Revolut one, again, you go into there, you choose an option, add the money over there, it pops into there, and it's absolutely free. Monese is the same, but Monese have recently added a charge, 0.3%. So if you've got the free version of Monese, the simple account, you'll get charged £1.50 for every £500 you transfer over. So if you're doing this, that's obviously going to reduce how much you get. There is a paid for version of Monese, the classic account, £5.95 a month, where this top up by a debit card is free. It doesn't cost you anything. And you might want to consider that because Monese does have a few other benefits, discounted gift cards every single month, which go quite quickly, but you get a bigger discount, 20% on them if you're a classic member. At least that's how it is. That could change. So you might want to consider that. But on the whole, I would say focus on the savings accounts or on the Revolut current account in order to move that money across. Just be careful with Revolut. You don't leave the money in there for too long. Make sure you do bring it back straight away because it isn't protected by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. I know we're only talking about 500 quid, but I still think it's better to move it straight back out if you can. Really, really important with all of these options that you do use the debit card top-up option. It's very, very, very different to do a direct debit and very, very, very different to do a bank transfer. Direct debits and bank transfers do not qualify you for your £5 reward, okay? So it has to be payment with the debit card, okay? So really, really important. But that will qualify you for that £5. So really, really easy. 4 easy options there for you to choose from. There is another one though. So I said before, like if you are using this trick, it means you can make your spending on a different cashback card. Now, if it's the Chase debit card, then that doesn't count, okay? Then that doesn't have work for this. You still use that for your spending, great. But if you're using a cashback credit card instead, then you can actually do a manual £500 payment to that card, to that credit card using your debit card. So you're basically, I mean, it's worth having a direct debit to pay off your credit card in full every single month anyway, to make sure you don't forget and don't get charged any interest. But this just means that you're kind of doing that ahead of game. So time your direct debit for later in the month, add that £500 to your credit card bill at the start of the month. The direct debit will be adjusted. It will reduce down how much you owe. So you're not going to end up with this problem, which I have had in the past. I've done it too close together where the direct debit hasn't adjusted and I've had a negative balance, so to speak, on my credit cards. They've owed me money and I had to chase it back. You want to avoid that. You can literally just pay off your spend. And again, you're getting your 1% credit card cash back, potentially a little bit lower if that's what you're going for, but you're getting that cash back, but then you're getting that reward as well. This really opens up a number of options for you. And this is really, really useful for having a number of options available to you, because this is where we get to this new change to the Halifax Reward account, where I think it's quite exciting. When we could be looking at that £360 figure, if not 180, but maybe 360 quid, because you can now have 3 of these accounts in your name. It used to be you could have 1 personal and 1 joint, but now you can have 3. And if you are a couple, that means you could have 6. But let's focus on you as an individual right now. 3 of these accounts. 60 quid per account, 180 quid a year. And to qualify for that, what do you need to do? Let's go back to the beginning. You need to pay on each separate account, £1,500 needs to go into the account every single month. On each separate card, £500 needs to be spent. Well, the £500 spend, I've given you 5 or 6 different options there that you could use to qualify for that. So you should be fine. You can, in fact, you could potentially have just a single savings account and connect each debit card to it, or a single credit card and each debit card connected to just one of those to pay it all off. Or you can have more than one of them. Again, choice is yours. Sometimes it's easy to have separate ones because you can save the debit card details in those accounts. You just sort of enter in the sort of 3 digits to confirm it rather than having to enter in the whole details, which takes a bit longer. But again, choice is yours. So that's simple, okay? Nice and easy. But you also need to pay, say, that £1,500. Well, what's really good about this is that £1,500 does not have to come from a different bank. It can come from a different Halifax account. So let's assume you are putting the full £1,500 into account 1 at the beginning of the month. Well, then transfer it to account 2 and then transfer it to account 3. Boom, boom, boom. You have triggered the bonus on all 3 accounts. And then if you've got £1,500 in one of the accounts, it's gone from 1 to 2 to 3, it's all in 3, then put 500 back in 1 and 500 into 2, 500 at each account. And that's the money you're obviously going to spend on your debit card. So that will give you 180 quid. And as I say, if you are doing your spending, which would have been on the debit card with these, your normal spending instead with a cashback credit card, and you're getting 1% from Chase or from the from the American Express Nectar card, then you're doubling that. So that's where your £360 comes from. So I say it depends. You may already be doing some of these versions with 1 account. You may be sort of doing it with 3 accounts, but spending on the 500, or you may be having the money in savings. I think this is a nice, easy win for you for just a little bit of admin every single month. Quickly though, before we end, I want to take you through applying for these additional accounts, because I'm sure you'll be thinking, hang on, I'm a bit uneasy of applying for a new card, particularly if there are switching offers going on over here. I might be prioritizing them. I don't want to sort of mess with my credit score. You don't have to worry. In my experience, when I applied for my additional 1 and 2, card 2 and card 3 through the app, there was no hard search. And that's been reflected in people in my Facebook community. If you haven't joined that already, do head to becleverwithyourcash.com/community. That'll take you through to the Facebook group to join. Again, people there, they haven't had a hard search on their 2nd and 3rd applications. So there's no risk really applying for one of these extra accounts. No risk at all. They might reject you. There's no guarantee they'll give you. Just because you can have 3 accounts doesn't mean you'll get them. But if they turn you down, there's no big deal. Perhaps you want to space it out a little bit. Those applications for the additional accounts, maybe do it 1 a month. But again, should be absolutely fine doing that. Now, it'd take me just 2 minutes as well, but I'll quickly take you through how to do this on the app. You simply open it up. I'm assuming you've already got your first account. Obviously, your first account, you will be subject to a credit check on that. And also make sure you keep an eye out for the bank switching bonuses that come along. Happen maybe 3 or 4 times a year. Anything from 100 quid up to the time of recording this, £175. Details of that over on the blog, becleverwithyourcash.com/banks. Plus, don't forget, I do my regular every month, a bank switching deal and other offers update. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't got those already. But assuming you've already got your first account, you open up the app and at the bottom, you'll see a symbol that says apply. Hit apply, and then you're given a list of things you can apply for. And you think, hang on, there is no new account. It's got upgrade your current account. Yeah, that's the one. Hit upgrade your current account, and then it'll give you some options to upgrade your existing accounts, or scroll down, apply for a new account. You do that, you tap that, you choose the account you want. Halifax Reward account. Ignore the ultimate reward. I've not focused on that here. That comes with added insurance, but you certainly don't want that 3 times. Maybe you might want it 1 time, but I think not at all. Ignore that. Just a Halifax Reward account and fill in the details. Very, very simple. Okay, it took me in total just 2 minutes to do all of that. And you get an instant notification if you've been given this extra account. It appears in the app straight away. You choose your reward straight away and how you're going to pay for it. Remember, you want to spend £500 in your debit card, not £5,000 in savings. And then that's it. It's ready to go. And you don't even have to wait for the card to come in the post because you can access all those details in the app. So straight away, if you want to, you can spend £500 using those debit card details online if you wish to, transferring that money into one of those savings or current accounts that I mentioned. So again, I know this won't be for everyone, but I think it's a great way to make some extra cash. Let me know below if you're going to take advantage or if you're already doing this. Really great to know how much money you are making from this. My name is Andy Webb. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, cheers.